Have you ever noticed that wherever we go, one audio brand always seems to follow us? Whether it's on a massive concert stage, inside a legendary recording studio, built into your car, or sitting by the pool as a colorful little box. Yes, that brand is JBL. Three letters that have become the ultimate symbol of punchy bass and crystal clear sound. But behind that bright red logo lies a remarkably dark history. Those three letters are the initials of a visionary genius whose mind was too big, but whose business skills destroyed his life. A man who ultimately chose to end his own life at the end of a rope, just so his company could survive. Today, we turn back the clock. This is the story of blood, tears, and the resurrection of an audio giant. This is the story of JBL. Our story begins with a man named James Martini. Born on January 14, 1902 in Illinois, James didn't come from a wealthy family. He was the ninth of 14 children in a tough coal mining household. But from a young age, he possessed an extraordinary gift for electrical and mechanical engineering. By the age of 12, he was already building his own radio transmitters. For personal reasons, he later changed his name to James Bullough Lansing. In 1927, at just 27 years old, James founded the Lansing Manufacturing Company. His breakthrough came when Hollywood began its massive transition from silent movies to talkies. Giant studios like Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer needed a sound system that had never existed before. James was hired to build it. He designed the Shearer horn, an absolute masterpiece that made cinema audio unbelievably lifelike. The project won an Academy Award, and James was suddenly revered as an audio god. But this is where his fatal flaw emerged. He was an incredible engineer and a hardcore perfectionist, but a terrible businessman. He didn't care about the accounting. He only cared about making the best sound possible, no matter the cost. Eventually, his company went bankrupt and was acquired by Altec Service Corporation in 1941, birthing a name you might recognize, Altec Lansing. James became vice president, but at heart, he was an independent inventor. He despised being controlled by corporate executives. So in 1946, he walked away to start anew. He wanted to call it Lansing Sound, but Altec sued him, so he used his initials, James B. Lansing Sound Incorporated. The world would come to know it simply as JBL. In the early days of JBL, Lansing engineered absolute madness. He used incredibly strong materials like Alnico 5 magnets. His first products, the D101 and D130 speakers, were technical marvels, but the raw materials were expensive and the manufacturing was complex. James repeated his fatal mistake. He made products so incredibly good that the production costs destroyed the profit margins. Debts piled up, suppliers hunted him down. By late 1949, JBL was on the absolute brink of collapse. Unpaid bills and constant failures shattered his mental health. On September 29, 1949, James visited his factory for the last time. He moved some items and neatly organized his desk as if preparing for a long journey. Later, in the quiet isolation of his avocado orchard, the man who gave a voice to the world decided to silence his own forever. James B. Lansing was found hanging from a tree. He was only 47 years old. James's story is a tragic piece of American history. If you appreciate the deep, forgotten stories of the technology that shaped our world, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now, because what happens next changed the audio industry forever. James's death should have been the end of JBL, but he left behind a $10,000 life insurance policy, naming his company as the beneficiary. That blood money was the exact lifeline that saved JBL from absolute ruin. The company's vice president, William Thomas, took over. Thomas was the opposite of James. He was a ruthless and brilliant businessman. With the insurance payout, he cleared the debts, streamlined production, and most importantly, preserved the uncompromising quality James had established. Thomas pivoted JBL to target the booming 1950s hi-fi or high-fidelity home consumer market. The 50s and 60s were the golden decades where the JBL logo became an American icon. They released legendary speakers like the Hartsfield and the Paragon. The Paragon was revolutionary, a nearly 9-foot-long luxury wooden console that delivered unmatched stereo sound. But JBL didn't just conquer American living rooms, they conquered the stage. When Leo Fender created electric guitars and bass amps that needed insane durability, he chose JBL speakers. The absolute peak? The most legendary music festival in human history, Woodstock 1969. Hundreds of thousands of people experienced the music through towering walls of sound powered by JBL components. The nearly bankrupt company was now the undisputed king of global audio. By the 1970s and 80s, owning a JBL audio system wasn't just about listening to music, it was the ultimate status symbol for audiophiles across America and the world. Let's look at 3 iconic product eras that define the brand. The JBL 100 Century 1970s. This is the best-selling bookshelf speaker in JBL's history. Its iconic Quadrex foam grille, often in bright orange or blue, became the face of 70s audio. With its 3-way system and 12-inch woofer, its punchy, clear sound made it the holy grail for classic rock and jazz lovers. The JBL Eon series, 1990s, 2000s, you've definitely seen these heavy-duty, dark gray molded plastic speakers. From school gymnasiums to hotel seminars to local band gigs, the Eon series was the gold standard for portable, indestructible active PA systems. And the Go, Clip, and Charge series, the modern era. When the digital age arrived, JBL invaded the youth market with affordable, rugged Bluetooth speakers. With massive battery life, waterproof certifications, and that signature punchy bass perfect for EDM and pop, JBL became a household name once again. But the golden era wasn't without brutal competition. They faced massive threats from Japanese giants like Pioneer and fought fierce battles for the premium market against Bose, who offered massive sound from tiny enclosures. Despite producing hit after hit, JBL's corporate structure had changed hands long before the modern era. In 1969, Bill Thomas sold JBL to the Jervis Corporation, led by Dr. Sidney Harman, which later became Harman International Industries. Under the Harman umbrella, JBL sat next to other elite brands like Harman Kardon, AKG, and Infinity. But the biggest earthquake in the tech industry happened in 2017. In March 2017, South Korean tech giant Samsung Electronics officially acquired Harman International for a staggering $8 billion. It remains the largest acquisition in Samsung's history. Why would Samsung pay that much? It was a high-level chess move. Behind the scenes, the tech trend was shifting towards smart cars becoming the next smartphones. Harman didn't just make JBL speakers, they dominated the infotainment, navigation, and telematics systems in more than 30 million cars worldwide, including BMW, Toyota, and Lexus. Samsung wanted to challenge Apple and Google in the automotive tech war. By buying Harman, Samsung essentially got JBL, Harman Kardon, and AKG as incredibly profitable bonuses. That's exactly why you started seeing AKG and JBL technology integrated directly into Samsung Galaxy smartphones and earbuds. So, what is the fate of JBL today under the Samsung empire? They are more unstoppable than ever. The fears that Samsung would ruin JBL were proven completely wrong. Samsung was smart enough to let Harman and JBL operate independently as a brand, while injecting limitless funding into their R&D programs. The result? Their true wireless stereo earbuds are dominating the market. Their speakers continue to evolve, and most importantly, JBL audio technology is deeply embedded in millions of modern cars and smart gadgets worldwide. Today, JBL is a multi-billion-dollar brand, sponsoring the NBA, Tomorrowland, and countless global artists. JBL is living proof that sometimes building a legacy requires the most painful sacrifices before its voice can finally echo across the globe. Do you still own any JBL products today? What's your favorite model? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you never miss another deep dive into the nostalgic tech history that shaped our world. See you in the next video.